Ladies and gents, boys and girls, Douglas and Diggets, it's your man Stacking on Away, aka the Dig Dug himself, and today we're looking at the Stygian Zinogre. Now, yesterday we did the Rajang, and that was all fine and dandy. He was cool. I actually really kind of like the fight a bit, so much so that I went and made both full sets of armor and 2 weapons. That's why we're decked out so quickly here. Now, nevertheless, here we are, Stygian Zinogre. Let's talk about him. Stygian Zinogre made his appearance in the 3rd generation of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, to be exact. That is my favorite generation to be in, the 3rd one that is, and probably the best 3rd generation game. Try has a different thing for me, but we'll just say 3U simply because it has G rank and all that good stuff. Nevertheless, at that time, he was an incredibly oppressive monster. He had a lot of attacks, a lot of things that he could do that would make you think, man, I cannot get in. And when they announced him, I thought the same thing. Wow, we're going to get Stygian Zinogre. He's going to be incredibly oppressive. He's going to make it to where you can't really get in. And quite honestly, it's not what happens. I mean, the thing that made him so OP back in the day was his Dragon Balls. He could actually take the full gore bugs, the Dracophage bugs or something like that. They're essentially the bugs that give him the dragon element, same as how the full gore bugs give the Zinogre his thunder. He had the ability to kind of throw these guys out in a particular pattern, so that way whenever you go to run up against them, they would be in positions where in which you couldn't really like get in close, because also on top of them being in close proximity, if you touch them you get hit, and also if you linger around too long, they track you. So after he throws them out, they'll linger in the air for a little bit, and usually in a position to where you can't quite get into too well. So you're like, okay, I can't really walk in, so let me hang back, wait for those to go away. Okay, if you do that, they will fly at you and they track you relentlessly. This time that's not the case. They don't do that anymore. He does kind of throw them out, but they do not track. They kind of go in a straight motion. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but I kind of want to get that out of the way for those of you who've yet to fight him and remember fighting him from back in the day. Now, he's very akin. I wouldn't even call him super akin to the Zinogre we have right now. He does have a lot of attacks that he has, but I kind of like this fight a little bit better. I don't really like Zinogre, but Stygian Zinogre has always somehow been my preferred Zinogre to fight, and that also remains true even here. And even though he doesn't have the oppressiveness that he had with the Dragon Balls back in the day, he does have a Psycho Crusher. So if any of you guys even know what Street Fighter is, there is a character in there called M. Bison. He has this attack that's called the Psycho Crusher. Or if you guys ever played Mortal Kombat and played Raiden, you know when he does a little fly right at you kind of thing and he yells like, he does that. Zinogre does that. It's kind of cool. And I was totally excited to see him actually do such an attack. So that's fine. Even though he loses his oppressiveness, he does put a lot of things on the ground. For those who are wary, like incredibly wary of fighting him, and probably even just scared to, he might also get you with the same. I'm not gonna call it like I was scared to fight him, but the same feeling of discomfort that I had when I was fighting him back in the day, where I was like, dude, I can't press the button. If I press the button, I'm getting smacked. So he does have a lot that he can throw on the ground. His zoning game is top notch. Okay, it is very good. And when he don't want to stay laying in the cut, he will come see you. So don't worry about that. He hits quite hard. His ground game is really strong. His zoning game is really strong. He likes to be in every position, long, medium, and short range. And he has the tools to handle all these ranges very easily. Not very monsters have the ability to do so, but Stygian Zinogre definitely does. So with his essential game plan out of the way, let's talk about what it takes to actually smack him real good. He is weak to thunder, which is funny because Zinogre is thunder. So I don't know, maybe run in here with some Zinogre stuff and slap Stygian Zinogre with his own things. Now in this case, I ran the Rajang weapons and armor because that's how I get down. That 90 thunder that I have on this weapon was not hitting it, but nevertheless, you use thunder to actually make him go topsy-turvy, and by that I mean cart. So for those wondering, just do that and you should be in relatively good hands. What else can I say about this guy? We talked about all his attacks and everything, his weaknesses and whatnot. Strange. I kind of ran through it all very quickly. Nevertheless, let's continue. So let's talk about the gear, because there's not too much to talk about. We're all vets now. This is like, guys, we're an MR. We're like MR 90, maybe even like 200 now. Some of you guys, but nevertheless, let's look at the gear. Honestly, the gear is not that good. I mean, the armor is not that good. You can make it good. You can make it good. You have to work at it a bit. Just a little harder than usual. You have to work at it. But yeah, the gear is okay, but the weapons are where it's at. But regardless, let's take a gander. So starting off with the armor, his armor looks good. It's if you guys remember, it's actually his high rank armor from back in the day. I don't know why they keep doing this, but it's always a high rank armor. Nevertheless, here we are. So his armor looks nice. Looks real good. The skills on them are actually pretty good. Power 6, and you get latent power secret, which is dope. Windproof 3, Dragon Tag 3, Earplugs 2, Trem Focus 2, Heartbreaker 2, Flinch Free 2, Elder Seal Boost. That's okay. Honestly, it's okay. Latent power is probably the best you can get coming out of here. Granted, you don't even get it all the way, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, you can just gem it in to get a little bit more of that. But the only really abilities on here that I actually really care for, that anyone should really care for, is latent power, focus maybe, and I guess part breaker. Those are the only ones that's actually really good, because when you go to beta, you essentially only keep those. You lose a point to earplugs, trem resistance, flinch free, all the dragon attack it gave you, and your seal. Everything else kind of just stays the same, which honestly is fine. And depending on like who you are and what focus into, you might just want to run beta so that we can get all the extra slots. I know I did. Well, I made it yet. I still gotta grind it out, but I will. Because the only thing, again, like I said, I just really need latent power. Everyone only really needs 1 point to flinch free. Focus 2 is good for me anyway for gun lances, and wind points to put in there, and then you're immune to wind. Part breakers. I mean, this even the beta is using dragon attack and elder seal, which no one ever uses. No one uses the elemental attack boost unless they really extra juice on there. No one cares about elder seal. Elder seal work, but no one cares. Most people use raw anyway. No one really use dragon to, I don't know, just don't. That is not even close to being nice. I don't use the meta, and I know that that's not nice. Nevertheless, that's that. Now his weapons are pretty good, and that's all I really can say about it. As far as dragon element goes, they kind of have it. They're decent. The other dragon, okay, look at it like this. You remember Stygian? His weapons, you have to awaken them. Stygian Zinogre's weapons are about as good as that. No without having to awaken, but less attack. You know, so they're okay. Pretty average. A better comparison would be maybe that of Val Hazak. His weapons are essentially on par in most cases to Val Hazak weapons. So yeah, look at it like that. And there you go. Yeah, I guess his gear isn't all that exciting. The fight's pretty good. Wow, I really wish I could have hyped this monster up a little bit more, but I really can't because the gear is okay and his weapons are okay. So there you go. Stygian Zinogre's gear in its entirety is just okay. The one caveat though, at least for me anyway, his gun lance has normal shot level 7, which is the only in the game to have normal shot level 7. So that's kind of a boon for me. That's kind of cool. So it's useful to me in that regard. Other than that, it's okay. But yeah, that's the gear. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, either run it or not, it won't hurt my feelings because whatever. So there you have it. In the case of Stygian Zinogre, come for the fight, stay for the fight, because that's the best thing about this monster. I'm shitting on his gear. It's not that bad. You can make it worth a lot of slots. It's just that usually you want to start with a very good foundation, and his armor set doesn't really give you a great foundation. Depending on like who you are, there's certain people who can make it really work. Things like maybe dual blades, something like that. Focus is really good for dual blades. Latent power is really good for dual blades. Having the extra affinity, of course, things like that. Being able to be free of debilitations like tremor resistance and flinching and everything else is good for other guys as well. So maybe it's one of those you can kind of take what I already have, double up on it, and maybe add a couple of your own skills in there to give yourself a pretty decent set. But then again, at the end of the day, it's never going to be fantastical. I won't say never, but it more than likely will not be fantastical. It'll just probably be okay. But I mean, yeah, the gears, it's whatever, but the fight itself is actually splendiferous. It's a good fight. I don't like the fight like I used to like the fight. Don't get it twisted. I do like it, but I don't like it how I used to like it. But it's still a good fight. All things considered, he's probably, as it stands right now, one of my favorite monsters to fight in this game. I'm probably just putting him on a very, very high horse. Because back in the day, again, like I said, he was one of my favorite fights. He was very oppressive. He doesn't have that same level of oppression that he does this time. Different type of oppression. So it's still good. It's still good. It still has a good level of difficulty for those of you guys wanting to know if he's still a difficult fight, if it's still a challenging fight, if it's one of those monsters that you can just kind of brush off and keep it moving. Not so much the case. He's no Rajang. He doesn't have to be Rajang. He's a different breed. He's not like an elder dragon killer. He's just a monster hunter slayer. So with that being said, that's it. Bring you some thunder when you go to fight him. Play very carefully. Absolutely do not commit to anything unless you 100% know for certain it's going to actually come out right for you, because he combos a lot, and if you overcommit to something and it's not safe, you're going to get met with some slappery. If you don't take anything from this, remember that. He has great ranges. He can do everything he wants to do at all 3 ranges, close, medium, and long. So he's comfortable all over the place. Do not get hit with a lot of dragons. Does compound very quickly. Let him get his rocks off. Wait for him to actually chill out a little before really trying to go in, because if not, he'll probably smack you again. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. First thing, I mean, honestly, I really hope for better. He wasn't as good as I hoped him to actually be, but he's still a pretty good fight. Nevertheless, whatever DLC wants to get for us next, it'll be a doozy and a pretty juicy one. I can't wait to see who they actually do. Hopefully, it's not a monster that we already know of, like a previous gen monster. Maybe we get a new monster to fight. Who knows? Probably not. Anyway, it's been your boy. You all take care. Have a wonderful day. Talk to y'all soon on the next video, which is actually gonna be Safijiva, because sure, that monster's pretty cool.